shallow. Infield is in, but double play depth still. First pitch to him. Fly ball. Center field. This'll do it. Berkman wins it for St. Louis. Jay scores. Sweep of the Phillies.
Yadier Molina last night with his buddy on hand. 3 hits as the Cardinals pulled off a dramatic win. Lance Berkman delivered his 3rd career walk-off hit, and the Cardinals had a sweep over the Philadelphia Phillies. Now Berkman welcomes his former team to town, and that's the struggling Houston Astros. It's a brief 2-game series from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. No doubt about it. You talk about carryover wins and big wins. Last night was one of those after the crucial error by the Cardinals, but then they're able to pull it out.
It really was. It was the only thing that could have been better is Jaime Garcia did not get the victory, richly deserved it, but the bullpen came through, and then the clutch hitting after stranding so many runners early in the game. And Dan, when you really look at it, that's the same type of game that the Astros lost yesterday.
And looking ahead to tonight, we have a new face that is in uniform here with the Cardinals. That's Peter Kozma, former #1 first-round pick of the Cardinals.
Well, he was the 18th pick overall, first by the Cardinals back in 07. He was a high school player, and a lot of people, kind of a controversial pick. But I was just talking to Mark McGuire, and he says that he believes that Kozma is going to be really a late bloomer. He's starting to people just say that this guy, there's a lot of talent there, and at some point it's all going to come together at the major league level.
Well, it's game 3 of this homestand, game 1 of a 2-game series against Houston. Loesch and Bud Norris, a look at the pitchers when we come back.
Session earlier this afternoon under the watchful eye of Dave Duncan. Let's take a look at our starters here tonight. Bud Cy Young Norris for Houston.
Well, he's 5-1 lifetime against the Cardinals. Even better here at Busch Stadium, where he's 4-0 ERA under 2. And his last time out, he threw a lot of sliders and cutters to the lefties. Kyle Loesch has just been brilliant this season. He has really challenged hitters, eaten up innings, and he's won 4 ball games. The one thing to look for, he's been very good at guarding against the stolen base.
A closer look at the Astros when we come back on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. It's the Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals, game 1 of this 2-game series. No doubt it's rebuilding here for Houston, and they have struggled getting out of the gate.
Well, they really have. The average is 4th, but that's not the problem. They just don't drive in any runs, and they have a very porous defense, most errors in the National League. Brett Wallace is a great example. He leads their club in hitting, but he doesn't drive in many runs. All 5 of his career home runs have been solo shots. Hunter Pence, we know he is a legitimate bat. He leads their team in home runs and RBIs.
The back end of their games, that's been a struggle.
Well, Lyon is, a quality guy, but he's more of a setup man. You see, he's 4 for 8 in save opportunities. They really got a lot of young guys in their bullpen, but they're not swing and miss pitchers.
2 ends of the spectrum, a walk-off win for the Cardinals last night. Yesterday afternoon, a walk-off loss for Houston. A look at that when we come back.
Cardinals, they finished off a series sweep of the first-place Phillies, thanks to Lance Berkman.
First pitch to him, fly ball, center field. This'll do it. Berkman wins it for St. Louis. Jay scores. Sweep of the Phillies.
Meanwhile, in Atlanta, the Astros found themselves on the wrong side of their walk-off as Braves catcher Brian McCann came through in the clutch.
McCann with a high drive. They're getting up in right field. And Brian McCann has done it again. A two-run walk-off homer by McCann, who tied it with a solo shot with 2 outs in the ninth.
Tonight, Kyle Loesch hopes to walk away with win number 5 as the Cardinals begin a 2-game series with the division rival Astros. Baseball, next on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. Is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Beautiful downtown St. Louis. Along with Al Rabaski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes, and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. Let's take a look at Houston's lineup. It's been a struggle this year, as we pointed out moments ago. This is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Michael Bourne, Angel Sanchez, and Hunter Pence here in the first, followed by Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, Clinton Barmas, Humberto Quintero, and the pitcher is Bud Norris. They'll face a very good pitcher this year for the Cardinals, no doubt, and that's Kyle Loesch.
Well, Kyle Loesch has been sensational, going deep into every ball game. His 4 wins are second most in the National League. His ERA is 4th best. Opponent's batting average is 3rd best in the National League. He has thrown 6 innings or more in every start.
And as you see, he works on the first base side of the rubber. And here is Michael Bourne. Bourne, the speedster, leadoff man for Houston, is hitting .261. No home runs, and he's driven in 9 this year. Only caught stealing 1 time. And a ground ball to the right side. Alan Craig. Alan Craig gets the start at second base here tonight. A look at your outfield with Holliday, Jay, and Berkman. Descalso, Terrio, Craig, and Pujols along the infield. And it's Loesch and Molina. Brought to you by Dobbs. Every day, Tony La Russa is starting to look a little bit better. I know physically he's feeling much better as well, as that's popped foul and out of play off the bat of Angel Sanchez.
Talked to Tony today as he's coming off the field during batting practice, and he said, feeling better, but right now I've got a little nasty twitch, and slowly he's starting to get that right eye more and more opened up. It's got to be difficult watching a game with just one eye.
I would think so. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Taken for a ball outside. It's 67 degrees. We'll have day baseball tomorrow. It's a brief 2-game set, and then we're back out on the road. Interleague play fires up again on Friday night around the major leagues.
Cardinals will be in Kansas City, taking on that young ball club that's got a little dry spell going right now.
Yeah, they got off to a great start. Now they're a game under the 500 mark. Out to deep left. Holiday back and makes the catch on the track.
Very nice running catch over the shoulder. Went back on that baseball at the last second, reached up and hauled it in.
Very fine play for Holiday. Got a good jump on that ball and makes the play for out number 2.
Ball in the inner half, but see how he's going back, and then at the last second he reaches up. When you're running backwards or going back on a ball like that, if you reach up too soon, it slows you down.
Here is Hunter Pence. Little floater into right. Lance Berkman, the former Astro, the hero from last night, puts it away. Good start for Loesch. No score after a half inning. By game and a half. Cardinals are 24-19. Houston 15-27. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup with Terrio, Jay, and Pujols, followed by Holiday, Berkman, and Craig, Molina, Descalso, and Kyle Loesch. Toyota Keys, and that's Bud Norris. You see what he's done against St. Louis with that great ERA and record. Rest of the league, he's not even been average. He has an ERA that's over 5.
Well, things are starting to come together a little bit better for the Cardinals. They have been able to beat him or really be more competitive in Houston, but he owns St. Louis, where he made his major league debut. 4-0 here at Busch Stadium.
Here's Ryan Terrio, the shortstop, hitting .299. Bud Norris in their minor league system a couple years ago rated as the top fastball, and we've seen when he's right, paints the fastball and a very good slider, very sharp.
And he threw a lot of sliders the last time, the Cardinals, particularly the left-handed batters. but a lot of times he works that fastball up in the count, and for whatever reason, a lot of the Cardinal hitters chase it, maybe giving an indication they don't see it well.
2-2 as he elevated that pitch.
Here's a good example of what we're talking about. You know, he gets that ball up there at the top of the zone, and a lot of swing and misses.
The 2-2 pitch to Terrio. Little bloop, right center. Drops in for a hit. Perfectly placed between Bourne and the right fielder, Hunter Pence. Houston has committed more errors than the Cardinals this year with Lee, Bourne, and Pence in the outfield. Johnson, Barmes, Sanchez, and Wallace along the infield. Quintero is your catcher tonight. Norris on the mound. That's presented by Dobbs.
It's part of the problem, you know, for Brad Mills and his young pitchers, and a lot of young players, a transitional team for them, but they don't catch the ball to your liking. They got a lot of young pitchers that not power arms, particularly in the bullpen.
John Jay looks at a strike, and another start for Jay in center field, with Colby Rasmus still dealing with that stomach ailment.
I think Colby's getting better. He did, first day, he did take batting practice, do the baseball activities. So a lot of times you'll do that. If you come out of that well tomorrow, then you'll find him in the starting rotation. But it's a lefty tomorrow, so maybe not.
Jay Happ will get that start. Kyle McClellan for St. Louis. And again tomorrow, field box seats for only $20 here at the ballpark. 12:45 is our first pitch. Great way to spend an afternoon, and some of the best seats in the house for $20. 0-2 on John Jay, and a check on the runner at first, and out. Terrio is picked off. Pretty quick move that time by Norris.
Quick feet. Gets the ball over to Wallace. See him out there. Just a little too big of a lead, and clearly he is out as he doesn't get back to the bag.
And an 0-2 pitch. Taken low and inside. Pujols on deck. Last night was the kind of game after the air by Tyler Green. A year ago, you're just not sure the Cardinals would come back and win. And yet they did that and did it right away. And they've had a lot of games like that this year.
Salas gives you that 1-2-3 ninth inning and gets rewarded with a win. Saw right before that pitch, Quintero, the catcher, signaled elevate the ball, go up the ladder. But Jay does not chase.
2 balls and 2 strikes on John Jay. Brett Wallace will take it himself for the out. And there's 2 away.
Our home plate umpire, Greg Gibson, very interesting as Quintero kind of set up away, and looks like Gibson likes to set up inside. And so at the last second, he told the umpire, hey, I'm going to shift inside, and told him to move. It was a little bit before that where the catcher actually told the umpire, I'm coming inside, and move over.
Here's Albert Pujols. It's now 22 games without a home run straight. Sitting on 7, 24 RBIs, and hitting .269 this year. This matches his longest stretch of consecutive games without a home run in his career. Did that back in 07.
And Albert did have 3 hits in yesterday's game. And the philosophy of if you start picking up base hits, eventually you're going to start getting home runs. The extra base hits. A rarity right now. Albert has more strikeouts than extra base hits.
Descalso more intentional walks than Pujols. You talked about that last night. Pointed that out.
I think it's still, he only has 1 intentional pass, where his average throughout his career about 38. A lot more protection behind him, and clubs are respecting it. And some dangerous hitters behind him.
The 2-1 pitch to Pujols. Takes it the other way. Pence backing up to make the catch.
And after a leadoff base hit, Terrio picked off Jay. A ground out to first, and Pujols the flyout. On June 25th, it's Mizzou Day at Busch Stadium, and you can buy discounted tickets at Cardinals.com/Mizzou Day, presented by the TV home of Mizzou and the Big 12, Fox Sports Midwest. Big old Carlos Lee leads it off. Went 0 for 4 yesterday, snapped his 10-game hitting streak. Now over 2,000 hits in his career.
You wonder if his days of being the 100 RBIs and a real home run threat are over.
When they initially signed him, we wondered how he would look, how he would perform in the back end of this contract, and we're about to find out here this year and next.
Only 4 home runs, but he has hit Kyle Loesch well in the past. Just a shade under 300 with 5 home runs against Kyle, and a lot of at-bats, 67, 20. See the bottom finger wrapped around the knob, extending below it. But I don't think, Kyle Loesch really has pitched well. He's a .500 record against Houston, 7-7 in his career, but an ERA under 3. And right now he's pitching the best baseball of his career.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. I've asked players why they do that. Why would you put your left pinky finger underneath the knob? And the explanation that I've been given is that they feel it helps them roll their wrists over a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
2-2.
There is a new bat manufacturer that comes out of St. Louis, and instead of having the knob like that, the end of it's slanted, so you can roll over like that.
2-2. Out in front, pulls it foul. Fans still filing in. It's turned out to be a nice evening for baseball. 20 for 67, 5 homers for Carlos Lee. And for tomorrow afternoon, we understand the weather's supposed to be ideal, so come on out.
Won't guarantee it once the team leaves town, but tomorrow is supposed to be nicer than today, and this is really nice right now.
2-2 pitch. Lee reaching for it, pops it up into shallow center. Alan Craig, ever so smooth out there at second base, and puts it away for the out.
See the little finger extended down below the barrel, fooled by the pitch, but big and strong. Yeah, he rolled over quickly on that to Kyle's advantage.
There is Brett Wallace, and they've told him, and you see him now, he's backed up off the plate, also deeper in the box. And teams initially this year were able to really get inside on Brett Wallace. So they've actually moved him away from the plate, trying to keep him off of some of those inside pitches and then find a pitch for him to drive. There's a pitch just like that was getting him out earlier.
Well, the interesting thing, he is hitting 321, so they're not getting him out that much. But the problem is, he just hit another home run, another solo shot. All of his career home runs, and it's not that many, just 5, have been solo shots. Really doesn't have much power, but he is a hitter.
And a ground ball to Alan Craig. He's getting tested here in the first couple of innings. And there's 2 outs. Brings in Johnson. They really feel right now, Al, that Wallace and Johnson could be the faces of this franchise as they move forward with new ownership and trying to, build upon what they have this year.
It makes perfect sense. Johnson last season hit over 300. Only 11 home runs, 52 RBIs.
Johnson this year hitting just 208. Came off a fine rookie campaign. 4 home runs. He's driven in 16. Outfield is straight away. 2 outs, nobody on, and a 1-0 pitch.
Duncan watching intently, but it's been a lot more fun watching Kyle Loesch this year when he's been healthy and the command he's had. He walks very few. Remember, in spring training, did not walk a man. Still only 12 base runners or walks, 12 walks this season. And he just done a good job. I think they've only scored in 7 innings all year against him.
3-1. From day one of spring training, Loesch was in command, so to speak. And that's a walk. A ball outside, but finally healthy. Confidence was back, and it showed. The command that he had. And when he's right, he will just pound that sinker. He's had starts where he's gone the distance and literally thrown the sinker 90% of the time.
Well, because he's healthy, one, he can finish off the pitches, so he gets a good movement on the sinker, but also he can finish off that slider and the changeup.
Johnson with the lead at first, and that pitch is outside to Clint Barmas. First time we saw Houston, he was hurt. He was on a rehab assignment 3 weeks ago and now back in their lineup.
I hope he regains some of his home run power that he possessed a couple years ago.
Former teammates Matt Holliday and Clint Barmas in Colorado. Molina calls time and wants to have a visit right now with Loesch. As we saw last night with Garcia, first couple of innings, it took him a little bit just to get control, find the strike zone, and once he did, lights out.
Well, that's really not unusual. As you try and get a feel for what pitchers are working early in a game, but you still got to stick with everything, because what is maybe a weak pitch early in a game may be your best pitch later on.
Two-0 pitch to Barmas. Quintero is on deck. Barmas is the 7th place hitter in this lineup. Pittsburgh has jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the 5th against Cincinnati.
That's where the Reds want it. Been coming from behind regularity.
The Cubs had a crazy play in which it cost them 3 runs in the ball game last night. Mike Quade, their manager, said, if we're not at rock bottom right now, we're darn close. And this is only in May.
Long season, Mike.
The 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. Ground ball to Craig. He'll go to Pujols. Houston strands a runner. Cardinals have Holliday, Berkman, and Craig coming up. More, get great incentives, a discount off the gate, and you can call right now at 345-9500 or visit Cardinals.com. Love to see a big crowd here tomorrow afternoon. Again, the Cardinals and Astros, and the dynamic deal of the day, $20 field box seats tomorrow. Here's Holiday, who's hitting .360, 5 homers. He's driven in 28. Holiday, Berkman, and Craig. Cut off by the third baseman. Fine play made there by Johnson, and there's one out here in the bottom of the second.
Dan, I was a little surprised. We knew about the great return for Berkman and how well he hit in Houston, particularly that last day, going 4 for 5 and 2 home runs. But Holiday had a higher batting average than Berkman in the first series in Houston.
There's Jeff Luhnow. John Mozeliak is there, his staff, and Jeff is in the middle there. The one that drafted Peter Kozma.
I'd be pretty happy and proud of Mr. Kozma.
We talked about Berkman earlier. That series against Houston. Wallace 8 for 12. Berkman 8 for 14. Pair of homers and 7 RBIs. Talking with Jeff Luhnow, and he brought up a valid point, Al. He said when we drafted Kozma, or Kozma, however you want to pronounce it, but he said the one thing that they had to figure out was that he played his high school baseball in Oklahoma. Nice play by Wallace on a turf field. So he's made that adjustment here at the professional level to be more aggressive, charge balls, and they feel defensively. He's turned into a good player, and the offense is coming. And the other thing that he also pointed out, he said, look, he was 18 when we drafted him. He's got a lot of growth here, and just because we've heard his name for so long, you think he should be in the big leagues. He said that's not necessarily the case.
Well, and talking with Mark McGuire today, he predicted him to be a late bloomer. And he said, you know, how much his body has changed from a year ago as he's starting to fill out now, mature. So he's looking forward to seeing the former #1 draft pick in 07 to see him next year when he shows up. But at every level, they kind of said, you know, he was, you know, kind of with late in the season, you'd start really maturing or seeing his talent. But he's got a lot of supporters in the minor leagues that think he's going to be a good player.
They also have said that among every level of the organization, he might be in the best shape of anybody. They say he keeps himself in tremendous condition.
Well, he's part Hungarian.
And he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. But part Hungarian.
Part Hungarian.
23-year-old Peter Kozma.
What part, we aren't sure yet.
But to wonder what's going through his mind right now. A few butterflies down there in that dugout, I'm sure. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Allen Craig. But I think from a fan's perspective, we're all anxious to watch him play because we've heard his name for so long.
Sure, and we can honestly say we've never seen him play.
He was at AA and then got the call up to AAA this year as Craig strikes out, and then today gets the call to the big leagues. Peter Kozma, the 23-year-old. West is brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open. It's a sports bar for everyone. And by Steel. Are you ready for a steal? Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, and Jim Hayes with us. And Hamilton takes over in left field. Holiday had grounded out to third. He's out of the game, and we'll get word on that, I'm sure, shortly. Quintero, Norris, and Bourne for the Astros. It's scoreless here in the third inning. First pitch is swung on and missed. Cardinals with Cosma coming up. Jim, Nick Punto has been put on the disabled list right now, and we talked about it a little bit last night, but he's been dealing with an elbow issue, and he is now on the DL as Terrio makes the play.
A right forearm flexor strain is what the Cardinals are calling it. They put him on the 15-day DL. They're saying that about 2 weeks worth of rest is what the doctors are looking for, and he should be fine beyond that. But he said he kind of knew something wasn't right when they were playing the Cubs in Chicago, and he was hoping that if he rested it here and there, it would get better. But now they're just shutting him down.
And you wonder if that's a byproduct of, the early detection of a sports hernia. Really had no spring training. Only was playing a couple days in extended spring before rush to the big leagues. Because of the injuries to Schumacher, and maybe just a little too much of a strain too early.
He said he feels like he's letting his teammates down by being hurt again. Plus, I mean, he was swinging a red hot bat. Certainly a defensive upgrade too, pretty much wherever you plug him in.
Had so many Punto plays.
Made a great play 2 nights ago on a double play that he started 4-6-3, and the first strikeout for Kyle Loesch. Take the Cardinals with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv to see every Cardinals game live or on demand. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Back to the top of the lineup in Bourne, who grounded out to second. He's 0 for 1. So second base is a spot that Alan Craig is at tonight. And the Cardinals would certainly like to get Skip Schumacher back fairly soon, too.
Well, Skip was scheduled to leave today to go to extended spring training in Jupiter. Kind of rehab there until he felt like he was good to go. As for Alan Craig, the more he's at second base, the more he feels he's able to get the job done. The comfort level improves. He said his main thing is in certain situations he has to stop his mind from racing, trying to figure out where he has to be, what position in a certain situation, and just relax. You could understand that, Al.
Relax. I do it frequently. Kendo under the watchful eye, and Posey feels he can make anyone, comfortable.
John Jay won't get it. Glad that, Al, you relax frequently.
Oh, yeah. There's a rare hit. That's only the 5th hit in 29 plate appearances for Bourne. Right down out of the strike zone, takes it off the ground, just kind of strokes it out there. You mentioned.
For the record, I think you're a high rev engine kind of guy, not necessarily the laid back guy. Maybe I'm wrong.
I disagree with you.
All right.
Angel Sanchez. This is fun to always watch the game within the game here. You've got Bourne, great base stealer over at first, and one of the best in baseball, Molina, at catching those base stealers over the last few years.
And Dan, Kyle Loesch does a real good job of stopping the running game himself. There's only been one steal attempt against him, and that base stealer was thrown out. I mentioned Bourne, who the last couple of years has led the National League in steals. You see his high percentage. Caught one time, and that was a pickoff by Capuano.
1 ball, 1 strike. Little bigger lead this time for Michael Bourne, and a check by Loesch.
Kyle is having a good time this year. After the game the other night where he was called upon to lay down a bunt, he's like, yeah, off the bench cold, lay down a perfect sacrifice bunt. Just another day for me.
Yeah, he sweated it a little bit when he was first 2 strikes.
Yeah,
didn't get the job, but he ultimately did. You're right.
Ground ball to Alan Craig to his left and makes the play. The Astros have stranded 2 so far. First 3 innings.
Well, watch him go to his left here, and you always got to guard against stepping on that glove. His left leg was out there. You know, he was and Oquendo likes what he saw right there, but you know, if you think about Alan Craig, he was early in his career in the minor leagues was a third baseman. He throws very awkward, and I think he got the job done, but they just didn't like his throwing mechanics. But at second base, it's a lot closer throw, and maybe that throwing is not quite the issue.
The trick is turning the double play, though.
When he's the middleman on the double play, that's going to be a new little twist for him. But they don't mind him starting one.
Here's Yadier Molina, 5 for 8 this series against the Phillies. 3 for 4, the double and RBI last night. Set 3 consecutive multi-hit games for the first time since 2010, August of 2010.
And Jimmy, that
his left quad, tightness in his left quad, Matt Holliday, so that's why he's left. Let's take a look.
A little bit of you see him right there wince. You see a little bit where that leg isn't comfortable as he's running down there. It kind of was grabbing him a little bit.
Remember, Al, he made that play on Sanchez, reaching up
early in the game. You know, maybe not stretched out as much as he would be later on. Could have been, Dan, because you got to get the feeling it wasn't because of that at bat. It was something that was bothering him before, and then maybe it aggravates it a little bit. But that's probably precautionary. You take him out and get a little treatment and ready to go tomorrow.
There's Daniel Descalso hitting .217, 1 home run and 14 RBIs. And it's 2 balls and no strikes with Loesch on deck following the leadoff base hit by Yadier Molina. Now, the Cardinals, they have Trevor Miller, the former Astro, out there in their bullpen, but they're hoping that Talent can come back off a rehab assignment and give them some depth in their bullpen as well.
Well, in his first rehab assignment, went a couple innings for Quad Cities. His struck out 5 of the 6 batters that he faced, and he's scheduled for another appearance for Quad Cities on Friday. But he's coming along nicely. He's back here in St. Louis taking ground balls with that right hand. That's the whole thing. He broke the non-pitching hand, and he had trouble defending himself in terms of actually defending his position with a glove on his hand.
3-0 on Descalso.
But he says he's been throwing the whole time, so he felt very good in his rehab appearance.
That catches the corner.
Descalso is 2 for 2 off of Norris, and left-handed batters this season are batting .320 against the Houston right-hander. Right-handed batters 151.
And Jim, that's one of the reasons why you wish a Colby Rasmus was available tonight as the runner goes, and it's a walk. So a couple of hits allowed so far. Now that walk, and there's a look at Colby.
Well, Al touched on it earlier. Colby's been bothering by an abdominal strain. He thought he'd be well enough to play today and retain his starting position. But he said there's still a cramping feeling when he throws the ball. He's okay hitting, he's okay running, but when he throws the ball, still a little bit of a twinge, and so they want to be sure that he's ready to go. Just a precaution for him to sit tonight.
Here is Loesch. Takes a pitch upstairs. And Al, let's talk a little bit about this defense here. And you're Houston, how you want to play it against Cal Loesch.
Well, ideally they want to get the lead runner. Remember, that is Molina out there. So what you have to do is first base is going to be crashing down. Shortstop's going to kind of keep Molina close at second base, cut down his lead. You want to bunt it hard enough down the third base line that you get it by the pitcher, and the third baseman has to come in, and he doesn't get the job done. That's by design, as Norris is elevating the ball, trying to get that exact same thing, get him to pop it up. Look at the muscles in his forearms as the ball makes contact with the bat. That little jarring. See, Cat, some guys do have muscles in their forearms.
I'm just wondering if that was where the tissue that was holding all the muscle in is gone, so there's more of a visible twitch.
Well, we're searching.
I don't know, but that sounds like something you need to investigate.
We are searching, if that's what we're thinking.
That's what the Cat's thinking.
Runners at first and second. And here's Ryan Theriot. Theriot, base hit into right. Pence will come up to hold Molina. Just past Brett Wallace down at first, and the bases are loaded now for John Jay. Yadier Molina, safe at third, safe and secure. New York Life. So here's John Jay, grounded out to first. He's 0 for 1. Bases are loaded.
Pence has a weird throwing motion from the outfield. You can see that.
.267 in this spot for John Jay. Jay up the middle, base hit, sneaks through. 2 runs will score. Under the glove of the shortstop, Farmas. If he gets there, they may have had 2. Instead, it's a 2-0 lead.
Set up inside, little hanger up over the plate, hit it hard through the middle. As you said, just gets underneath Farmas. Looked like he almost overreached for the ball and goes on through.
How about John Jay? Scores a game winner last night, getting on base in the 9th. Had a couple of hits last night. And as he's filled in for Colby, he's been flawless defensively. Looked very good in center.
And now it's a chance for Pujols to do some damage here.
Jay 4 for 10 on the homestand.
1 out, runners at first and second. Albert, first time up. Fly to right field, and Hunter Pence.
Albert 4 for 18 against Norris. Hamilton on deck, replacing Holiday.
It's a quad issue again. If you're just joining us, Holiday did start, went 0 for 1 in left field, made a fine play on the second batter of the game. 1-0 is fouled back. Pujols last night, Al, and again on that rip, just seems like he is so close to depositing one of these pitches over the wall, and not fooled. You see him foul a pitch like that, he's close.
Well, first you got to get a pitch to hit, and then can you do something with it? Not centering the ball, but as you said, getting much closer.
Count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike on Pujols. Little floater, base hit in the left. They'll wave the runner in, and it's 3-0 St. Louis. Terrio scores RBI number 25 for Pujols.
Little jam shot, but he muscles it over the head of the shortstop. Another run. They'll challenge Carlos Lee. Oquendo's going to challenge everybody, but definitely Carlos Lee and Bourne, the left and center fielder. Tries to jam him, and this time he fights it off. Didn't sound good, but it effectively placed. And Terrio hustling on home.
In this inning, 4 base hits and a walk, and it's a 3-0 lead. 5 hits total against Norris here tonight. So Hamilton will be the hitter. Normally a first baseman, moved out to left. And replace him, Holiday. Runners at first and second.
Once again, a left-handed batter. They're batting .320 against him. Hamilton really hasn't gotten untracked at this level. .214, no home runs, no RBIs. If he connects on one, you might see one of the longest home runs to right field. A year ago, he played 9 games from coming up in September when he was 2 for 14. He led Memphis last year with 18 home runs.
1-0 pitch. 2-0. Quintero and the home plate umpire Greg Gibson are in sync tonight.
Well, you can see them really talking to each other. You're sitting there and see how much he goes over the inside shoulder of the catcher. So he just told him again, I'm coming that way. Give me a little leeway.
Trying to get the tag on the runner Pujols. They missed. Runners at second and third. And now there's 2 away.
Watch out. He's telling the umpire, I'm going to be moving inside. Nice little pick right there. But when I saw earlier in the game, Gibson was almost coming around and stepping almost his right foot, this parallel to Quintero's right foot. So when he was set up outside, then tried to deceive the batter and come inside, he had to tell the umpire, you got to move your leg so I can get set up inside there.
The ultimate respect for their former teammate Lance Berkman, who faced his old teammate last night, Roy Oswalt.
Yeah, he went 1 for 1 with a walk against Oswalt. So those bragging rights he talked about the other day remain intact, even though he did bounce it off the bag at second base. He says that Oswalt told him before the game that he wasn't feeling well, and he thought Oswalt was just sandbagging, but he said he did have pretty good stuff, but the bragging rights are intact for now.
Six Flags Day at Busch Stadium, Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th. Cardinals and the reigning world champion San Francisco Giants. All fans 48 inches and under receive a free ticket to Six Flags. For Cardinals tickets, visit us online at cardinals.com. There you see your runners, bases loaded. 2 outs and a chance for Alan Craig to add to this 3-run lead. You see the umpire working in conjunction with our home plate our catcher. Makes you think of Jerry Crawford. We were in Houston. It was 2003. And Jerry was all over, you might remember, Mike Matheny, who was catching at that time. And that was in Houston.
Well, what happened, Dan, if you remember, is a lot of umpires will even put their hand and lean on a catcher a little bit. But what happened in that night is every time a breaking ball came in, Crawford actually pushed Matheny forward. And he kind of told, hey, don't do that. And Crawford took exception to that. I mean, Matheny's the easiest guy in the world to get along and work with. But you can imagine you're trying to receive a ball and the umpire's posting you forward. You know, you're not going to be happy about that.
The Cardinals have been swinging away at 3-0 more than we can remember. Here the last week or so. It's 3-0 on Alan Craig. Al, do you remember Shaq Crawford?
It's his dad.
And his brother Joe, NBA official. And Jerry has retired from Major League Baseball.
Shaq Crawford, Jerry's father, was a senior umpire and was behind the plate the day that he ordered me to pitch with no batter in the batter's box. The next pitch, I'm on the mound. I had 2 batters in the right-hand side of the batter's box, and a manager stepped on a plate when my next pitch somehow separated everybody. A fight ensued.
Famous picture from that day.
Yeah, fight ensued, and all combatants were still playing. Simmons, who popped Madlock, was still there. Madlock was a hitter. Cardinal was the on deck hitter. I was pitching. Shag was still umpiring. Teddy was catching. And Jim Marshall of the Cubs got thrown out for arguing.
3 balls and 1 strike here on Craig with the bases loaded. Outfield is deep and straight away. Takes another strike. Full count. Runners off with his pitch. Alan Craig, first time up, struck out swinging. The only strikeout for Bud Norris tonight.
Dan, I really think that on these 3-0 counts, you really 99% of the time today's hitters have the green light.
Runners go, and it's taken for a ball. 4-0 RBI for Craig. That's number 11. And the Cardinals will bat around here in the bottom of the 3rd. No activity in the bullpen for Houston. Three walks in the inning, one of those intentional.
Who is impersonating Bud Norris tonight?
Good point. Molina started everything with a base hit, a single into center field this inning.
We've seen recent games where you wonder, well, maybe these guys should be working the pitcher, trying to get deeper into the count. And you talk to some of the hitters and they say, hey, this guy had good stuff. And so my approach is, if I see a pitch I think I can hit, I'm swinging, regardless early or late.
It's really the theory, Jim and Al, that we've talked about late in games against closers when you're down by a run. Frustrates a lot of traditional baseball people to see the Cardinals swing, or any team swing early without taking a strike. But
right,
the specialization of the game has changed it. If you get a pitch to hit, you go for it. The 0-2.
I think at times we give pitchers way too much credit. And what they're saying is like, okay, he's going to get ahead with a count, so that may be the best pitch you see. But many times you put yourself in a hole where the great Jack Buck always taught everyone you take a strike when you're down.
Foul tip, and that's held on to. Quintero held on to it. Cardinals, though, pick up a 4-run lead. And compliments of Nestle Purina, Saturday, June 25th. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com. Basset Hound, Bulldog, Beagle, Boxer. Doesn't matter. Some changes now for the Cardinals at second base. Tyler Green and Alan Craig moves from second to left field. Hamilton out of the game.
It's early, but with a 4-run lead, Tony's gone to his defensive team.
Here's John Jay in center field and puts it away for the out. Hunter Pence retired. He's 0 for 2. Lee due up, and then Brett Wallace. So Green goes into the 4th spot, which was originally occupied by Matt Holliday. Hamilton, now Green. And so far so good here with Cal Loesch. He's allowed 1 base hit. We talked about it. Get those first 2 innings through, get a feel for it, settle in, and he's starting to do that. Terrio makes the catch. The liner off the bat of Lee. 2 away. First pitch strikes. Always tells a story. And Loesch 9 of 13 so far in this ballgame.
And I bet that was majority of those misses was in the first inning or so.
We'll always keep an eye on Brett Wallace, I'm sure. Guy that was drafted highly by the Cardinals. They're trying to figure out where he would play in the big leagues. Now he's been with 3 other teams outside of Houston. And Wallace, they say, has very good hands, but a lot of major league scouts believe that his swing, while odd, effective. Will he turn into a 20-25 home run man? You know, you can live with a first baseman that's a Gold Glover or hits 330 without power, but will he be any of those?
Now, will he hit power, and will he drive in runs? That's the one thing he has not shown, and Loesch thought he had a strike there.
You could see him pat. He said, my bad, not trying to show up the umpire, but he thought this was strike 3, and I did too.
It was
1-2, and Wallace, a strikeout. Easy inning for Loesch, and it's 4-0. Tonight, who is the first pitcher to throw a 9-inning no-hitter and lose the game. The AT&T trivia answer: Ken Johnson, 1964, against the Colt 45s.
Oh, the Harvey Haddix game is a better one than that.
Here's Descalso.
Trying to think, Haddix, if he had a perfect game, through 12 and lost it.
There's a reason that Descalso looks so comfortable at third. That's because he was drafted as a third baseman. Talking with Daniel today about it. Coming out of college, he was a third baseman, and then immediately once he went into the minor leagues, the Cardinals moved him to second. He said when they asked him to move to third at this level, he said it really wasn't that big a deal. He said, I know a lot of people have made much ado about it, but it was something that I feel very comfortable with. The 1-2 pitch. Also talking about his arm, I said, you have one of the better arms that we've seen. And he said one of the things that he does, and he said, I noticed a difference when I started playing long toss in college between my sophomore and junior years. He said, I would stretch out as far as I could possibly throw it. He said, I did it every single day. And all of a sudden, he said, my arm just changed overnight.
Got arm strength.
Yeah.
And for young players, pitchers, infielders, outfielders, that's the smartest thing you could do is long toss.
Slaps it the other way. Lee has to back up. Can't make the play. Descalso on his way to second. There's that poor defense that we talked about. That should have been caught out at left. Descalso will wind up at second base.
Well, Dan, that's what you're talking about. They lead the league in errors, and then you've got plays that should be made that are not made. So this is a leadoff double. So he broke in, then he tried to go back and never recovered, and the ball gets over his head. Just may have clipped the tip of his glove a little bit, but reaching that high, it's a double.
So here's Loesch, who had a chance to sacrifice first time up, popped it in the air to the third baseman. Stabs at it that time. Remember, Loesch, a couple of nights ago, we talked about it, was asked to come off the bench. A game that obviously he was not pitching in, and got the bunt down with 2 strikes.
Very good athlete, so he is asked to games that he does not start. He is available to pinch hit or in a bunting situation. And like you said, after a couple bad attempts, he did get the bunt down with 2 strikes.
Gets the bunt down here. It's a tough play and a fine throw there by Norris, because Loesch can run a little bit too. Sacrifice good, and an opportunity now for Terrio. But Norris, first 3 starts, .545 ERA here at Busch Stadium. Last 2, a different story. ERA that's over 7, 8 earned runs and 13 hits.
But still 4-0 in this ballpark. Cardinals, see his catcher, second baseman, all trying to tell him how important to strand that runner there at third base. Terry already 2 for 2. He's 4 for 9 when facing, and Descalso is 3 for 3 with a walk in his career against Bud Norris. Infield in.
And a strike at the knees to Ryan Terrio. Terrio singled first time up, then was picked off by Norris, and singled into third and came around to score. Lead of 4 runs. The Cardinals with 6 hits tonight already.
Well, it's early. You want to push for more runs, but obviously you want to bring across that 5th run. You have a 5-run lead. A grand slam can't beat you. Can't even tie the game. So you're really pushed to maintain 5 runs or more.
Descalso, the runner at third, the 1-1 pitch inside, almost hit Terrio. Well, having said that, Al, how about a squeeze play? What do you think about that here?
You know, a few years ago, Tony saw the squeeze play quite a bit. This would be an ideal combination. You got a guy at the plate that is a grinder that can handle that. Got pretty good speed out there at third. There it
was, and Terrio couldn't get a bat on it.
It was a bad ball.
And Descalso is in the rundown, and the tag is there.
You know, sometimes you have to have a little help, and you have to have a better pitch around the strike zone. So it's a 2-1 count. You think you're going to get a strike. Terrio offered at it, but it was down the way. Stay in the rundown, not ideal, but they ultimately tag him out.
Now, I don't think he offered at it. 3 balls and 1 strike. It did look like he pulled back. Take a look here.
Well, you're right. That's wrong. If it's a suicide squeeze.
So it's a caught stealing on that play. And as you said, even if it's a bad pitch, you've got to try to find a way to get the bat on the ball. And clearly, Terrio pulled back.
Yeah, I saw the offer, and I didn't. Good call on your part. You've got to throw the bat at it or whatever.
Little jam shot to third, and Terrio is retired. Norris out of the jam. 4-0. So we move to the 5th. With the mission continues. Series of community service projects organized and led by U.S. military veterans. And Al Raboski will be part of this May 24th. They will renovate the Able Senior Citizen Center in Rolla. Find out more at missioncontinues.org. First pitch is hit out of play by Chris Johnson, underway here in the 5th. It'll be something that I'm sure you're looking forward to doing, Al, being with the veterans and doing some good work in the community.
Yeah, we're going to be down there in Rolla, and later on we're going to have another one of these type of community center endeavors in Hannibal, and then one in St. Louis.
The 1-1 pitch. Fought off. Little flare into right. Berkman diving. Oh, what a play! Diving play by Berkman against his former team.
And who was saying he can't play the outfield? Well, let's hope he didn't hurt himself, as he's okay, but he got a good read on this. He comes in under control, leaves his feet, lands in his glove, and punctuation mark as he raises it.
See his wrist catch a little bit. You'll get a better view here. As he made that catch, you can see it just pull back just ever so slightly.
I think it was more the abdomen.
You're saying it's not part of his arm, what you're telling me?
No.
We'll have to find out.
Well, you can find out.
No. We'll ask him tomorrow.
It's an area where you don't want to rub it.
Well, it's the wrist.
and maybe it's both, Dan, but maybe it's a good deke on his part, because you can't rub the other area.
Interesting analysis again, Al, and strikeout of Barmes.
Third strikeout of the night. Twice he's gotten Barmes. Kyle Loesch tired 6 in a row. Only had 2 base runners here tonight, a walk and a hit. Coming to expect that, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Well, what a play out there by Berkman. And Loesch is locked in right now. He's allowed just 1 base hit. Here is Quintero. And a base hit into center.
And Quintero way in the hole at short, expecting him to pull the ball. You know, Kyle Loesch is over 60 innings now, working on 63rd inning of the season, and he's only been scored upon in 7 frames.
How about the lack of walks that you talked about earlier? And that just gives you an indication of how he feels this year. That pitch taken for a strike by Bud Norris with 2 outs. Runner at first here in the top of the 5th.
The ability to have a repeatable delivery. So you find your release point, and then if it's a good one, you can repeat it.
Off the mask of Molina. 2 strikes. We were with Mike Matheny today, and every time I see a foul tip, I think of Mike. Dealt with collisions and foul tips and then concussions that ultimately ended his career, but he was telling us earlier that he feels great. Good news.
Helping out on our post-game, pre-games at times.
Little chopper to short. Terrio underhands to Tyler Green. Quite a play by Berkman and right. It's 4-0. Stadium, this date in history brought to you by Schnucks Skip Schumacher. Be back very shortly. 2008 follows up Ryan Ludwig's walk-off home run with a walk-off hit of his own. They beat the Rays 5-4. Our Schnucks this date in history. Ludwig had the home run and Schumacher the extra base hit to win it. Tyler Green now in the 4th spot in the lineup. Tony La Russa's club. 3rd player in that spot. Holiday left with tightness in his quad. Then it was Hamilton. He's out. And now you have Green. So Jay, Pujols, and Green. Here in the Cardinals half of the 5th. St. Louis leading 4-0. It's Peter Kozma there, called up today. Tony La Russa is saying that Kozma could be a guy that is one of those interchangeable parts at 2nd, short, or 3rd. Though ideally they'd like to see him eventually become a shortstop if he can play at this level every day. And Jay, the strikeout as Kozma is wearing the number that was occupied 3 different times by John Mabry.
He's got a hat on. Helmet.
Here's Pujols, who is 1 for 2. The minor league staff and the development staff met with the major league guys, and they asked, is he a player that we need to get ready to play all those positions? And they said no. We like what we see. He's made some adjustments defensively. Let's let him progress at shortstop and see how things turn out. You can only imagine the butterflies right now. Peter Kozma. How many times has Tony La Russa seen this in his baseball lifetime? Somebody getting ready to make that major league debut.
Kozma last season, career high numbers: 13 home runs, 72 RBIs, 28 doubles, and 13 steals at AA. He led all Texas leaguers and AA shortstops with 100 double plays.
We talk about it all the time too, where Tony does not want that player, once he's called up, to sit. He wants him to play.
Well, it only stands to reason. You know, he gets promoted from what he's been doing lately, and if you sit him, he's just going to get rusty. You know, his numbers aren't that good at AAA offensively, but the last 4 days he's hit almost 500.
The 2-2. Pujols, ground ball to short. Farmers makes the play, and there's 2 outs. Back into 3rd.
He's there hitting for Berkman, so hopefully that isn't something that Berkman didn't do something. You lose Berkman and Holiday in the same game, even if you win it, that could be a very costly victory.
So here's Green, his first plate appearance of the night. Average at 236, 1 home run. He's driven in 6. Green now at second base. Alan Craig made the start there. Then they moved him to left field with the injury to Holiday. Outfield is straight away for Tyler Green. And that caught him. So Green hit by a pitch. Here's Kozma.
Your attention, please, for the Cardinals. Batting for outfielder Lance Berkman and making his major league debut, number 47, Pete Kozma.
th overall pick, 2007, Pete Kozma. One-0 pitch, fouled back. Good cut.
Kozma batting only .220 with 17 RBIs, but with runners in scoring position, .333, led Pacific Coast League AAA shortstops with 33 double plays turned. And his last 4 games, 471, 8 for 17 with 7 RBIs, 3 triples, 5 runs scored.
Green, the runner at first. The pitch taken low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mark McGuire says he's going to be a late bloomer. Every year, or last year, he saw him. This year, he saw a lot of improvement. Really looking forward to next year. See him growing into that body. Remember, he was an 18-year-old when he was drafted.
And he stays away twice now from that slider. 2 balls, 1 strike. Some guys, you see him make that major league debut. It doesn't matter what you throw up there, they're swinging away. Another check on Green. Now Norris has already picked off a man, and that was Terrio back in the first.
And whether you're a rookie getting your first at bat or a guy coming to a new team the first time. Remember, Larry Walker was greeted by a standing ovation, and then he struck out 3 times and walked back to a standing ovation. And so what is this? Never forget that first at bat by Larry Walker as a Cardinal.
Runner goes to strike, thrown out at second, hits Green, and he's in scoring position.
Tyler Green leads the ball club in steals with 6.
You know, Al, in this game, you've got Allen Craig, Green, Cosma. Out in that bullpen is Salas and Sanchez, Brett Wallace, all players that were drafted by Jeff Luhnow.
Scalzo, well, Albert, well, Luna, yeah. But, then you think about Molina and Albert and guys like that, that were drafted and came through the system also.
2-2 is a fair ball. Welcome to the big leagues, Pete Cosma. RBI double in his major league debut. How about that?
There's his first, or what we hope is many, souvenirs. Not only got the first hit, he got his first extra base hit, and also his first RBI. Looked pretty comfortable up there, didn't he? Sure, he'd tell us he was nervous, but it didn't show.
Now Allen Craig takes his fastball upstairs, and Cosma sneaks it inside that third base line. First hit, RBI double in the big leagues.
Being from Tulsa, you just hope his family got the word early enough to where they could be here and be part of the action. I'm sure they are.
So Green was hit by a pitch, steals a base, Cosma drives him in, and here is Allen Craig. Strike with Jeff about these players and the sense of pride that he takes in drafting these guys, having them come through a system, and it works out. Especially in the case of Sanchez and Salas. Jeff is bilingual. He was born in Mexico City.
And they have the draft coming up. It's June 6th, right?
Yes. A lot of talk about a pitcher from UCLA named Bauer could be the #1 overall pick. Another pitcher in Texas that's an outstanding player. A pitcher that could be #1 overall. The 2-2 pitch. There's also talk about making a high school pitcher the #1 overall pick. You can see that very often.
And costly.
Yep.
High school players have the leverage of college, hold over a major league club.
The 3-2 strikeout of Craig. It's 5-0 thanks to Pete Kozma. First major league hit. Major league debut here tonight, pinch hitting, and comes through with an RBI double. It's our Nissan drive of the game, a double that scores Tyler Green inside the third base line.
Chris Johnson was off the line down there for the double, gives the Cardinals that 5-0 lead. Out playing second base, and he looks a little lost as he almost forgot to take the throw from the catcher after the warm-up toss. He just looked over at Okendo, but he'll keep a close eye on him.
Talking with Daniel Descalso about positioning on the infield. Third baseman tonight, Descalso. This is Michael Bourne, the 0-1 pitch. Hits it out of play. And he said they go over charts the first day of a series, but for the most part, it's left up to the player because you have the information about where you're going to be situated. He said now they feel that you're completely wrong, they'll move you as Bourne hits it in the air to right. But for the most part, it is up to the player. And Joe Bettini is the one that is directing that on the infield. If you have a car and love baseball, then don't miss discounted Cardinals tickets from Phillips 66 Gas when you fill up with 10 gallons or more. For complete details, stop by your local station or visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
See a little smile on Tyler Green's face as he gets that pop-up, and this time he holds on to it, as the baseball gods will remind you that don't close the glove too soon.
A little grounder up the middle. Terrio to his left. 2 outs. Last night it was a one-handed miss that Tyler Green would like to forget, but tonight, 2 hands.
And you clamp on it. Now watch you look there, and there'll be a little smile like, oh, little relief.
The relief was last night winning the game, and you can forget about it.
Yeah, it's just no one feels worse than Tyler for dropping that ball, which ultimately came around to score an unearned run against Garcia and took a win away from him.
Now, we told you about Joe Bettini, what he does with the infield. We just saw a shot of Dave McKay. He's the one that directs the outfielders. And John Jay was just motioning over to left field, telling Craig to move over towards him.
Now they're bunched in the outfield. So you see how both cornermen, left and right, they're off the lines, bunching towards the center.
Pence into right. Green over. Makes the catch. 4 against Cal McClellan. Off to a terrific start at 5-1. 12:45 is our first pitch. We'll be on the air at noon tomorrow. What's on tap? Presented by Budweiser. 5-7-0 for St. Louis. 0-2-0 for Houston as we move to the bottom of the 6th.
Sergio Escalona is our Mid-America Chevy dealers called to the bullpen.
Escalona will get Molina, Descalso, and the pitcher Loesch, lefty from Venezuela. 6 feet, 210 pounds, 26-year-old.
He was acquired by Houston from Philadelphia in exchange for infielder Albert Cartwright. That was earlier this, I guess, in January. And this will be his, what, a 3rd appearance. Made his 2nd appearance this season for the Astros on Sunday.
There's Cosma talking with Mark McGuire. Yadier Molina leads it off and rips it into left field for a leadoff base hit. 2-hit night for Yadi, and the multi-hit games are starting to pile up.
Yadi's been National League's best hitting catcher, average-wise, about the middle of April, as Molina has his 4-game hitting streak. He is now 9 for 12. And since came in hitting 365 since April 14th. Rodriguez, the right-hander, warming up.
Up the middle, double play ball, nice flip. Barmes the turn. 4-6-3, nifty glove work there by the 2nd baseman, Sanchez.
Sanchez playing as Billy Hall, 1 for 15 off of Loesch, and the youngster, part of their future, backhands the ball, flips a strike to his shortstop covering and complete the double play.
Word on Berkman is wrist discomfort. So the lead of 5 runs. Hopefully it's not serious, and just trying to get some attention to that. Hopefully see him tomorrow. Loesch looks at his strike quickly. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on.
It's a good game to get all your benchmen in. 3 of the 5 have already been used.
Strikeout of Kyle Loesch sends us to the 7th. Redbirds with a 5-run lead. can get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. And by Kia. Jim Hayes, Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Cardinals with a 5-0 lead. They about hit Houston 8-2 in this game, and Loesch, so far so good, cruising along, trying to pick up his 5th win of the year. Al, what's been effective tonight for Kyle Loesch? What have you seen?
Just the same typical thing. Found his release point. He's just going out there attacking the strike zone. He gets plenty of share of ground balls.
Right center, Jay on the move, won't get it.
Perfect timing.
Cut off by Green, and a strong throw back into the infield. Leadoff double for Lee. That's only the 3rd base hit for Houston tonight.
Now, Kyle Loesch and Carlos Lee have done a lot of battles. He's hit about 300 against him. Actually, he will be about 300 out. Green gets out there, cuts it off. He's hit 5 home runs against Kyle, so you'll take the double. It is a leadoff one. And now you got to continue this streak of getting Wallace out, who had a great series against St. Louis in Houston.
Again, would bring it up again, the fact that Wallace has moved away from the plate, a little deeper in the box. They feel that has allowed him better chance in some of the inside pitches, and then to get full extension right down the middle, and that's tapped foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, everybody felt that he was going to hit. Would you find a position? Obviously, playing first base for the Cardinals was not an option. But he was traded off. We were happy with what we got in return.
Time call.
Part of the holiday deal. And he just doesn't hit with runners in scoring position.
1-2. Tonight he is grounded out to second. Struck out swinging back in the 4th. He chased a pitch on the outside corner. Outfield not very deep and straight away. Reaches for it. Productive at bat here. Runner advances to 3rd. Houston's trying to get on the board. Every Thursday this month on Toyota Cardinals Live, our pregame show, we'll check in with the Cardinals prospects and see how they're faring. Tomorrow we look at Zach Cox. Toyota Cardinals Live tomorrow at noon on Fox Sports Midwest. That's another example of a guy that can hit. Zach Cox, a 3rd baseman from Arkansas that they drafted, but will he hit for power?
He did hit a solo home run last night. A little bit late, but hey, big speedy recovery. Big wishes for a big Cardinal fan, Danny Hobbs. We hope that we'll see him out at the ballpark.
Chris Johnson. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is fly to right in the great play by Berkman, and also a walk back in the 2nd.
You can be a little greedy in your thinking right now, but it's part of the mental games you play. That you got 1 out, you got a runner over at 3rd base, you got a shutout going. This is when you really play a game within this game, to where you got a 5-run lead, but in your mind it's a 1-0 lead, and you want to make sure that man does not cross home plate. So it just gives you that. It's a way to have a little extra adrenaline to get a guy to get through an inning. And it won't work.
Base hit into center, and Houston on the board. Johnson, the RBI, is 17th. Lee scores, and it's 5-1. It looked like Johnson had to reach for it and just took it right back up the middle.
Set up away, and a little slide or a changeup, and he just got plate. Not a bad play. They had shortstop pulled over in the holes. So a couple of their hits have gone up the middle, but I don't think Terrio would have gotten that even playing straight up.
It was Clint Barmas. Barmas 0 for 2. He's grounded to second, also struck out.
And you see Molina right now. Just started to notice that, that sometimes after you lose that shutout, you have a little mental letdown. And I think Molina just saw that. Kind of I just threw the ball up there, and immediately you go back out and try and get him back under control.
Pitch count is nearing 90. And a right-hander is starting to get loose in the Cardinal bullpen.
Del Rosario for Astros.
2 balls and no strikes. First run allowed against the Astros in 13 1/3 this year for Kyle Lohse. Remember, at this ballpark he had a complete game against them a couple of years ago. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0.
I said Kyle's 7-7 lifetime against the Astros, but an ERA under 3. And this year he is a much better pitcher. He's got at least 6 innings in every start.
The 3-0 pitch taken for a strike.
But it's much better than that because Kyle has actually averaged 7 1/3 innings per start. That's the most by any Cardinal starter. And when you do that, you're only asking the bullpen for 5 outs. It really does set up that game for a victory if you have the lead.
In the air out to left center. Jay makes the catch. Oh, what a play. They'll double him up. This will be a double play. John Jay makes the catch in left center. Johnson doubled up.
Where is he going?
Time to stretch. Good defense from the outfielders here tonight. Redbirds on top with a score of 5-1. You'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you'd like to sit. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. Again, we want to remind you, $20 field box seats available. Those are some of the best seats in the house for $20 tomorrow here at the ballpark, and the weather should be ideal for day baseball at 12:45. John Jay for the outfield defense. Cardinals here tonight. It'll be Terrio, Jay, and Pujols, but John Jay, nice play in left center.
No doubt about it. Really fooled Chris Johnson, who just thought he would never catch up to it. And then he was able to double him off as he was more than halfway to third.
Mario Del Rosario, originally signed by Cincinnati, the right-hander in right now. A high chopper to short. Parmas quickly to first for the first out.
Cincinnati's, excuse me, not Cincinnati, but Houston has a lot of young arms in that bullpen. But unlike some of the Cardinal arms, they're really not swing and miss type guys. And that's a big difference, because if you're not playing good defense and you're not striking people out and putting it in play.
Base hit into center for Jay. He's had a nice night. Remember, he came up with the bases loaded back in the third. That was a 4-run inning for the Cardinals and picked up an RBI single that scored 2. Here's Pujols. He also has an RBI tonight, his 25th. Flight out to right, grounded out to short.
Average up to 271. Albert will tell you that he's still trying to find his stroke, but very confident when the season's over, his numbers will all be there. I wouldn't bet against it.
One-0 pitch. Last home run for the Cardinals was Sunday off the bat of Lance Berkman. Game the Cardinals jumped out to a 2-0 lead on back-to-back homers in Cincinnati and eventually lost. Two outs.
Hear the sound that he didn't get it.
Del Rosario made his big league debut at the Reds. Made appearances for both the Reds and Astros in 2010. 27 and 24 and 173 minor league appearances over 6 years in the Reds organization. Five to 1 Cardinals. They're half of the 7.
6'2", 181. Good pitch underneath the hands of Tyler Green.
Runner goes. Good jump by Jay and safe.
His first steal of the year in 2 attempts. This pitcher's got a high leg kick and really doesn't look like he paid much attention to Jay at first base, so he put his head down, runs, high throw, guaranteeing the safe call.
John Jay, the collector of shoes.
I know, the tennis shoes.
In particular, the Air Jordans. Green down the left field line, foul.
A little reluctant to say how many pairs he has, right?
Might be
over 100.
Triple figures.
Yeah, I think it is over triple figures, but didn't really want to say how many over. You can only wear one pair at a time.
But there's all kinds of situations for various colors and styles.
You know, Dan,
might be a Sunday walk or
I miss
dinner.
That, I missed that class.
Yeah, so did I. Next to Green, taken low. A shoe for every occasion, no doubt. If you have over 100 pairs
of tennis shoes,
yes. The 1-2. Nice stop down at third to take a hit away from Green, and they got him at first. What a play. Johnson takes the hit and RBI away from Tyler Green. Outfield defense has been terrific tonight. Second batter of the game. Holiday taking an extra base hit away. This is Berkman in the fifth. May have injured his wrist on that play. He was lifted after that. And then how about John Jay in left center? In the presence of mind to fire back in the infield and pick up the double play. Dave McKay was here early working with the outfielders, and it paid off in this particular night.
Two of those nice plays by the outfield could be costly. We suspect maybe that on that play by Holiday, he might have initially strained the quad.
Base hit by Quintero against Loesch here in the eighth. He is 2 for 3. Best wishes to Colin Pennington and Leanne Langenberg from Washington, Missouri, to be wed on Saturday in Augusta. Congratulations. And now some very sad news to pass along. Trina Lindy passed away recently. Been a Cardinal usher since 1999. We had seen Trina a number of times here at the ballpark, and our thoughts and prayers are with her family.
Very sad. Only 29 years of age, and I know she's got a lot of friends here at the ballpark that I'm sure a lot of the fans that worked her area will miss her too, but we will also. We both remember her.
This is Brian Bogusevic, the pinch hitter. First pitch was a changeup. He swung through it. The 0-1, another one, and a double play ball. Out at second. Out at first. 4-6-3 on the double play, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't know how much his second base Kozma played, but he looked very comfortable.
Al, they were working him out at second base all day today, you know, and he got the call, and that was where he was taking a lot of ground balls and pivots, just like you saw there, to start that double play. 4-6-3.
And remember, primarily a shortstop, but at this level, the more positions you can play, the more playing time you're going to get.
Michael Bourne slaps one foul. Jose Oquendo and Joe Patini working with Alan Craig as well as Peter Kozma. Liner and a base hit.
This count's still under 100, but approaching at 96.
Lefty Trevor Miller up, right-hander as well in the Cardinal bullpen, but you wonder if he's able to get a quick out here. Would you let him start the ninth?
It's a long season. You know, you're seeing them getting these hits here in the last couple innings, so depends. He might have picked him off. Whoa. Bourne has been caught one time, and it was a pickoff. There, that false move almost cost him again.
Kyle McClellan goes tomorrow. 12:45 with the first pitch.
A new daddy.
And his lovely wife Bridget, brand new baby girl. Congratulations. And McClellan right now tied for first in wins with 5. He's 8th in pitches per inning, just over 14. And 64% of the time he's getting the ground ball. Not too shabby.
And Kyle Loesch is trying to get to that 5-win mark here tonight.
You wonder, Al, if Wainwright does not get hurt, is Kyle McClellan right now your closer?
Well, I hadn't thought about that, but he would be my first choice.
Yeah.
You know, with the problems that Franklin had, obviously would be the most experienced guy to assume that 9th inning.
That's what makes Kyle such a valuable guy, as they're keeping a close eye on Michael Bourne. 2-hit night for Bourne, the leadoff man. Loesch has allowed just 6 base hits. If you think about the role that McClellan had on that bullpen. So good the last couple of years, not just getting in the 7th or 8th inning, but also very effective against left-handed batters too.
Well, that's why we are not surprised with what he has done. You know, in the starting rotation, it's just a continuation of the fine work the last 3 years in the bullpen, and an old-fashioned grooming for a young pitcher. Start in the bullpen, get some experience, get your confidence up, find out what works and what doesn't work at this level, and eventually work your way into the rotation.
1 ball, 1 strike. Really preoccupied with Bourne with a 4-run lead here in the 8th and 2 outs.
We know a lot of times those calls come from the bench.
Next pitch by Loesch. Foul back. 1-2. And now I'm not sure we've seen a better pitcher in the National League than Jaime Garcia this year.
You will have no argument from me.
He's
and
been
especially here at home.
In the dirt, 2-2.
Jaime's earned run average at home, Dan, is a major league best 0.29. 1 earned run in 31 innings pitched. Last time somebody had 1 earned run in 4 starts, Clemens, back in '91.
Jay puts it away. Loesch threw 8 and 1 run allowed. Brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America, member FDIC. And by AT&T. 5-1 here in the Gateway City. The banks of the Mississippi at Busch Stadium, and Jose Valdez will take over.
Osborne's going to get a shot at this tall drink of water. He is 6'4", 200. Another pitcher out of the Dominican Republic, 28. Signed as a minor league free agent back in '09. He's at Double-A last season for the Astros. Last 2 outings for Valdez have been scoreless. He has 12 strikeouts and 9 2/3 major league innings pitched this year.
Peter Kozma, RBI double in his major league debut, first at bat.
Well, these
Fouls
two
that back.
were probably doing battle at AAA. Jose Valdez was recalled on May the 6th from Oklahoma City.
35,298 here at Busch Stadium. 3-5-2-9-8. Looking ahead to the ninth inning, Pence, Lee, and Wallace due up for the Astros. So you're talking about 3, 4, and 5, and the right-hander continues to throw in the bullpen.
Sanchez is warming up along with Franklin, but you just have to believe Franklin is warming up on his own. I mean, it's a 4-run lead, but why would you have Sanchez up if you're going to bring in Franklin? So my belief would be that Frankie's just warming up on his own, trying to stay sharp for his next outing.
The 2-1. Another way to look at it too, Al, is that you're getting Franklin in to start the ninth, but any sense of trouble, you've got Sanchez ready to come in, and he's loose and ready to go.
Possibly.
We'll see. Also seen Mott throwing, and Miller, the lefty, as well. 3-1 is hit foul and out of play.
The only thing I would discard your theory, which is a very good one, is that with Sanchez right now in a streak where you're not consistently believing he's going to throw strikes, it's not like you want to bring him in with men already on base.
Yeah, good point. That really has been the only blemish against Sanchez, is the fact that he hasn't consistently thrown strikes.
And when we first got to the big leagues and he was so dominant, that's what you liked about him most of all, is because he did throw strikes with 2 swing and miss pitches. Now recently he's had trouble locating the fastball, and he has the most command of his slider, which is good, you know, if you can get to that strikeout position.
3-2 pitch to Peter Kozma. On base for the second time tonight. Nice debut. On base twice. RBI double. First time up, and started a double play in this ball game too.
Feel everything. He looks very comfortable there, and I'm sure he'll tell you it's not as comfortable. And there you see, talking to a fellow Cardinal minor leaguer. Hey man, can you believe how good it is in the big leagues? Real money is so awesome.
And then Wallace says, just wait to the 1st and 15.
Yeah.
You'll really like it. Here's Craig with a runner at first and a 5-1 Cardinal lead. Little chopper towards short, deep in the hole. Barmas, they get the lead man. So Craig 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. That walk, though, was a bases loaded walk and picked up an RBI.
Gets the ball deep in the hole. The only play he had was the force out at second. No return throw.
Yadier Molina 2 for 3. Pair of singles, run scored tonight. Average has jumped up to .318 for Molina. Well, the catcher wants to talk to Valdez with 1 out, runner at first. Talk it over.
Rowdy 3 hits last night. Chance to get a 3rd here tonight. Really been swinging the bat well since mid-April. It's not
fell down, and thankfully he did not stop. That would have been a balk.
Right. You know, if he like his cleats caught, but you execute the throw, and he was able to throw the ball on a bounce. There you see him lose the balance, but he executes the throw, and on a bounce it was right to the catcher. So they tried to get the tag play at first. So
that's when you need Vladimir Guerrero at the plate. He would have swung at that.
He would have.
It probably
hit a rope.
Knocked it out of the park. You've seen him do that before.
I've seen him hit, base hits on bounce balls.
Oh, yeah. Base hit again from Molina. Swinging one of the hottest bats in this lineup. 3-hit night for Yadier Molina.
Back-to-back 3-hit nights for Molina. 4-game hitting streak. Down and away, and just drives the ball that way. He's got 10 hits in the last 4 games.
Here's Descalso on base twice tonight. Fun to see these young guys get a chance and stick with the major league club and contribute. And Daniel has done that this year. His hits, when they've come, they've been big ones. 7th inning or later. He's played a very good third base defensively, and versatility that he gives Tony La Russa.
Dan, a lot of that transpires with these guys. Got a lot of confidence. They learn how to play the game right. Lately, the minor league system has been winning, so they come up and are accustomed to winning.
Pulls it foul.
But I think what's helped a lot of the younger players this year is that Albert really hasn't hit, but Tony's gotten so much production from Holiday and Berkman. When the middle and the big guys hit, then it takes so much pressure on everybody else, and they can just contribute. They don't have to be, called upon to and be so dependable. And then you relax, and they're a lot better.
So the catcher was on deck.
So the catcher wanted that ball up around Descalso's head, and he throws it at his ankles.
I said, "What was your welcome to the big leagues moment?" He said, "I felt like major leaguer at that home run I hit against Florida." He said, and also that base hit recent road trip against Kerry Wood. So you just feel like you're part of the team, you belong here, and you contribute to wins.
Well, that is it. How many times have I said, even in a lopsided game, a Cardinal can win when they're winning big. How important it is for the young pitchers to be the 9th inning guy, to get those handshakes. That's a great feeling. And you get it one time in a blowout, you want it, then you want to start getting in closer games. But be part of winning games.
Daniel grew up in the Bay Area, and his favorite team, the Oakland A's. And he said one of the first guys he had a chance to meet off that team that was so good in the late 80s, Carty Lansford. He said Lansford was his hitting coach because he played with 2 of his sons, and he said that he grew up idolizing Big Mac and Dave Henderson, Ricky Henderson, great players of the Oakland A's, and Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan's teams.
Descalso, has 7 game tying or go ahead RBIs in the 7th inning or later. That endears you to your teammates too.
Pulled foul.
He hit about Double-A, and you started seeing his name prominent, in the little capsulization of the minor league games.
Three and two from 0-2 to a full count here on Descalso. Also said he could imitate any of the Oakland A's, their batting stances, right or left. Runners at first and second. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The 3-2 pitch to Descalso. Here it comes. Grounder, Wallace. Foul ball.
Just foul as Wallace goes after this ball, gets by him, but you can see that Titchener got the call right.
Cardinals picked up 4 runs in the 3rd, another in the 5th. They lead it 5-1. They about hit the Astros 10-6. On the outside corner, Descalso loses that battle. And there's 2 outs.
Backdoor breaking ball. And play got a little wider.
So Colby Rasmus will pinch hit here with 2 outs, runners at first and second. Just the last 3 games.
Another great outing for Kyle Loesch. 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts.
How many times are they going to have a visit here? The 5-1 game with 2 outs at the bottom of the 8th. What could they possibly be going over again? Signs?
Probably the guy second's been there for a while.
That's my point. Now it is the first at bat for Rasmus tonight, so maybe just a very quick, brief scouting report. 2 outs, 2 on. Valdez to Colby Rasmus. Colby hits it out of play.
Told him to throw a hanging breaking ball. Nice job, Kyle Loesch, in line for his 5th victory. Dominant performance. And he goes 8 innings. That, you only ask the bullpen for 3 outs, protecting a 4-run lead unless Colby can do something.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Colby missed a few days with a little abdominal strain. Today was the first day he really took batting practice. So a lot of times they will have you sit out a day or sit out 1 more day just to make sure you don't have any problems after that workout. But expect him to play a little bit, but you got the left hand. Happ is a lefty. So will it be Colby or John Jay, or need to be Tyler Green out there?
The 1-2. Pulled foul. Career .281 pinch hitter with 1 home run, 5 RBIs. He's only done this 32 times in his young career. Two balls, 2 strikes.
If memory serves, he's been a decent pinch hitter, which I kind of thought with his laid-back personality that he wouldn't be, but he's done a pretty nice job as a pinch hitter.
The 2-2 just missed. Very Very tough pitch to take by Rasmus to force it to go to 3-2.
Could have been either way, though.
Runners off with the pitch on 3-2. Colby to the right side. Wallace there. Valdez to the bag, and the Cardinals will strand 2. 9th inning when we come back.
The game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery. Cardinals live. Pat Paris and Rick Horton waiting in the wings. The Cards solved. Bud Norris, a memorable debut for Cosmo, will also go inside the Cardinal clubhouse. All that and more coming up. Eduardo Sanchez on to finish up for the Cardinals as we go back to the booth. And Dan and Al, guys.
Okay, Jim, good job tonight. We'll see you on the post-game. Eduardo Sanchez, 23 of his 48 outs have come via the strikeout. 2.81 ERA. And another guy that was drafted by the Cardinals and has made it to the big leagues. As you get a look at no place like home, the starters during this series and this homestand as well. Westbrook, Garcia, and Loesch. Loesch tonight, of course, and then Westbrook, the 7 innings matched up. Cliff Lee. Talked so much about Lee, but Westbrook was terrific that night.
He outpitched him, trying to win our 3rd game in a row. Not a save situation, but with these young power arms, Salas has pitched the last 2 nights a save, and then he was the winning pitcher in last night's ball game with another 1-2-3 inning. You got to just go out and finish these games in efficient fashion.
1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff Luhnow telling us that Sanchez was signed at the age of 16, Venezuela, moved to the Dominican Republic, and at the time he was hitting around 89-90. But the thing that they loved, they projected this, the scouts, was that he was so fluid and easy with his arm. Kind of loosey-goosey was the way that it was termed, that they felt as his body filled out and he kept that flexibility, he would throw harder, and he's done that. There's a nasty slider and a strikeout for Sanchez.
Well, that's what we're talking about, a swing and miss pitch. And that's why he racks up the strikeouts. Very tough with that slider. Now, we've seen the fastball when he first came up throwing 95, 96. Recently, it's been a little more consistent at 91. But he has that pitch right there. Dave Duncan will project and look at these power arms. Boggs the most experienced, Salas the most reliable, and Sanchez the guy with the biggest future as a closer.
It's Pence, Lee, and Wallace. Lee has doubled and scored here tonight. In the air, out to left. Quickly, 2 outs. Let's take a look at our Budweiser player of the game, Kyle Loesch. 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 1, struck out 3. And Kyle Loesch has a chance 1 out away from picking up win number 5. The Cardinals 1 out away from win number 25.
2 nights ago, Salas had the first 1-2-3 9th inning. Saved 9th inning for the Cardinals this year. But just 1-2-3 9th innings they haven't happened. And we've seen a couple times where Sanchez has gotten trouble after getting the first 2 outs in the 9th. Then the control issues pop up. If you get the feeling tonight, it's going to go 1-2-3.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brett Wallace tonight grounded out to second, struck out swinging in the 4th, and also grounded out to second last time up. On their feet here at Busch Stadium, over 35,000. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, right side. This should do it. Cardinals win it. 5-1 here tonight.
Nice game. Kyle Loesch, an outstanding job. The young #1 draft pick. Cosman has a nice debut, gets his first major league hit, an extra base hit, an RBI. Flawless in the field. And Sanchez closes out the 9th.